Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. Today I'm going to be installing a mini split. This particular unit is a Pioneer 9000 BTU. It's kind of a little one, and it's going to be used to heat and cool that breezeway right there. The outdoor unit can be mounted in a bunch of different ways. We've already had one mounted on a bracket on the building, but you can put them on a concrete pad. There's several different ways, but in this case, we're going to be putting it on a stand about a foot above the ground. So the first thing I need to do is dig these two holes. When I built this addition, I built a pipe into the wall. It's all nice and insulated in there. So all I have to do is take that rag out of there, poke a hole through the wall, and then bring my pipes down here, and the unit's going to go over here somewhere. But what I need to do is find the center of that hole, get a plumb line down here, and then measure over and then out. I have a big Stabila 8-foot level right there, and I can get plumb with that, but by the time I get that out of the case and set up, I can already be done. So what I'm going to do, I have an 8-foot straight edge here and a 4-foot level, and I'll get plumb that way. Okay, now I want 14.5 over, which is about right there. And then we'll just get a plumb down to the ground. Okay. 18 inches is right here. Then the next hole is 14.25 over. This ground is very uneven, which is why I'm using that stand. Okay, 18 is right here. 14.25 is right there. Okay, that's where my two holes are going to go. It looks like they might meet in the middle, but I really don't want a trough. I want two holes, so I'll try to keep them separate. I got my holes dug. It's almost one big hole, but I didn't want to dig out all this stuff as well. Just more digging to do. Okay, now I got to mix up 2 bags of concrete. I'm going to have to do that around the corner, wheel it around, dump it in the hole, and on that stand, I'm going to put a couple screws near the bottom of the legs to hold it into the concrete a little better. All right, let's get them screws in and then mix up some concrete. Okay, 1 bag in the hole. Now I'm going to put the stand in there and mix up the next bag, and I'll pour that around the legs. Okay, that's going to be about it for a while. I'm going to let this set up. It's dead level in both directions. And for you concrete guys out there, I realized that that second batch was a little bit wet, and I did it that way on purpose. I wanted it to flow around these legs. I'm not worried about PSI, that's just an anchor. So once this sets up a little bit, I'm going to come back, backfill that hole, and fill this area right here. Then we can get going mounting the unit. Okay, looking real good. That's going to be it for today. I'm going to let this thing dry overnight, let that concrete set up real nice. Then I need to find out exactly where the drain goes through and drill a hole for that. I don't want water spilling on top of this and sitting there. So I'll get the drain hole drilled, and then I'll get this thing bolted down. Then I can concentrate on the indoor unit and getting the lines down here and connecting it to this. Okay, here's what happened. It started raining a little bit after I got this in. You could see how it's kind of settled and cracked and everything. It's actually rained for the last 3 days. What I'm going to do today is get the outdoor unit mounted and the indoor unit mounted. That'll give me some pipes hanging out the wall, and then in another video I'll get the rest of this done. Get up here and show you what's going on here. When I built this addition, I put this pipe going through the wall. This is right up against the drywall, and I have blocking in the wall for the indoor unit. Unfortunately, their bracket is not 14 inches on center. Unfortunately, their bracket is not 16 inches on center like a standard wall is. It's some odd number. So I put blocking in the wall, and I marked one of the holes, and I marked both this hole and one of the holes on the bracket so I could locate that stuff. But after painting the wall on the inside, I can't find the marks, or I couldn't find those marks. So what I did was come out here with a long drill bit and drilled right through the center. So now I have a hole going to the inside, and let me show you what I did in there. So in here, here's my hole. There's dimensions on the instructions, but they're kind of incomplete. I'll show you that back out in the shop. But it does have the dimension going down to the bottom of the unit. Then it has the dimension to the main holes, which are not in the right place. And I'm using a different hole, and I have that marked on the bracket. I'll show you that as well. And in the end, if I put one screw through the bracket in a marked hole right there, get the bracket level, and put screws in the other holes, it'll be in the exact correct place. And I'm wiring through the unit down to the outdoor unit. I'm going to put a safety disconnect out there as well, but I didn't know where that was all going to be. Otherwise, I could have put the safety disconnect through the wall down there. But in this case, I'll be running it through the unit and then down with the other wires. I'll show you that in the next video. All right, so what I need to do here is drill a 2.5 inch hole here, mount my bracket, and then run this wire up into the wiring box, and that should be it for the indoor unit for today. If you're mounting one of these on an existing wall, which almost everybody will be, you just locate wherever your studs are and then try to find holes that are going to match up with them, get the bracket in place, and then you drill your hole. I'm kind of doing it different because I built the wall with this in mind. All right, this arrow points to that indexing hole, and like I said, I know exactly where that is on the interior now, so all I have to do is put a screw through there into that spot, get this perfectly level, and then put another screw over here, and I believe I can put more screws in line with those. This is the bit I used to drill through the wall and through the plaster there, and this is the 2.5 inch bit. The hole for the pipes and stuff is 2.5 inches. This is the bit for that. The pipe that I have going through the wall is a 3-inch pipe, so there's plenty of room for it in there. And there you have it. When I put the unit on, this wire is going to go over to here, and there's an electrical box inside the unit right about here somewhere, and it'll be connected to a wire that comes back out and goes that way. This right here is the air conditioner disconnect, so that power is just going to meet up inside the inside unit, and it's going to come back out and go into this, and then from this it's going to go to the compressor here, which would be right there. Okay, it's kind of a muddy mess back here. That should be all the stuff I need. Get that out of the way. Now I just need to enlarge these. Well, I have to drill holes into the arms here, and I'm drilling them at 5/16, which is about the size of the shank on a 3/8 inch bolt, so it should be real nice and tight once it's done. Actually, let me check my depth here. All right, got it. These are the anti-vibration pads. Actually, I believe they do go that way. Let's go get the unit. I almost forgot. Got to drill a hole for the drain, and I just measured that, and it's 10.5 over from that bolt. Oh, go this way. And then it's 2 inches in from where the bolt is, so we're at 1.5 inches, so that would be 3.5. Right about there. Okay, couldn't find the bit I was looking for, and I believe this one is on the dull side, but it's going to have to do. I want a good size hole there. Figures. Okay, when I was tightening these down, they weren't getting quite as tight as I wanted them to. These are 3-inch lag screws, and all I had in my shop was 3-inch and 5-inch. So I went and got the 5-inch, drilled the holes a little bit deeper, and swapped all these out for 5-inch. Now it's super tight in there. So let me see if I can get the camera in here to show you that drain. You could see the channels in here that'll channel the water to the drain, and that's the drain back there, and it should be right over the hole. My way back out of there. All right, now I got to put that grill back on and put the interior unit in, and that'll be it for the day. Okay, that's going to wrap up this video. I have the bracket in place, and we'll plug this up for tonight. Tomorrow I need to get a taller ladder in here, and I need to feed this wire in to that electric box inside the unit, and then the stuff that comes out of the back of the unit is going to go through this hole. Then I just got to lift it up and hook it onto the bracket, and everything else will be done outside from there. Out here, the 2 refrigerant lines and the electrical will come out of that hole. It's got to be gently bent, and then it's going to come down along the side of the wall here, and then I have to connect the next section to it. I have to wrap it. There's other stuff I got to do, and then I'll be putting in my electrical disconnect over here somewhere, and that's going to have a piece of conduit coming over to here. The refrigerant lines are going to connect right back here, and then I'll show you how to do that and release the refrigerant into the system. You have to bleed it down and stuff too. Oh, let me show you my kit. Before we leave, normally on a wood base like this, I would have used a hanger bolt, and a hanger bolt has like a lag screw on one end and a regular bolt on the other, and you drive it down into the wood, and then it would just be a stud there, and I could have just put a nut on it. But they didn't have any hot dip galvanized ones anywhere. I looked on Amazon, they didn't have them there, and they didn't have them at Menards, so I just used these lag screws that I had here. This is my kit. The last time we installed a mini split, I did the math, and it was way cheaper to buy a vacuum pump and the gauges and stuff than it was to have somebody install it. We actually had a quote for this one, and they wanted like $1,500 or $1,600 just to install this with that hole already drilled through the wall. That's one of the hardest parts. So, got all the stuff here. Got a little tube of that sealant, and I got another one here, so should have plenty of that. I'll show you how all this stuff works when we get to it. I have to remember how all of it works, actually. I believe some of this stuff is extra from last time, but we'll find all that out when we get to it. This will all be in the next video. We'll get her pumped down, release the refrigerant into the lines, and test it out, all in the next video. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below, and if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.